Major returns for tonight's episode of SmackDown. Also, we got to talk about John Cena's farewell tour. There's been a massive update where his retirement match is taking place, all the details surrounding his farewell tour and what remains of it. And then, yes, we are going to talk about a huge AEW return that could be happening very soon. And if you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button. This way you never miss a video on this channel. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We got something big here. Britt Baker. What is going on with Britt Baker? A lot of people thought that maybe she'd be going to WWE. Well, I think we're going to see her back in AEW. So, as you guys know, there was a Q&A session with Fightful Select, and Sean Ross Sapp had noted that Britt Baker has remained in shape throughout her entire absence and is ready to make her return to AEW television. Sean Ross Sapp noted that with AEW and Ring of Honor having 5 women's titles right now, many think this is the perfect time to bring her back. Sean Ross Sapp also said that her break has been good for both sides. It gave them some time to reset. Since she still has over a year left on her contract, now might be the best time for her to return. Now, there was tons of rumors of Britt Baker potentially trying to leave the company, wanting to leave the company, WWE wanting her. I mean, we've covered it all on this channel. Tony Khan had responded before, and he confirmed that Britt Baker never talked about leaving. He explained that her absence was simply due to the fact that they were just doing a rotation policy with talent. And he said she would return when the time is right. Now, listen, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. This past week of Dynamite was actually a pretty solid episode, but the problem was there's been a lot of controversial takes regarding Riho and Mercedes Moné being the match being set up for AEW All Out. And I actually agree with that. I think how they got there wasn't the most thrilling, wasn't the most exciting. And I think this is going to be another clear defense for Mercedes Moné. I think she is going to successfully defend her TBS championship. However, I do believe that if there was ever a time for Britt Baker to return, it is in fact All Out. I think that is the right move. Have All Out at All Out, have Mercedes Moné be confronted by Britt Baker. Let that be the next big program. And I'm going to say this because I genuinely mean this with all my heart. I do think Britt Baker should dethrone. I think she should dethrone Mercedes Moné. I think she's the one who's taking the TBS championship off of Mercedes Moné. And listen, deep down inside, Britt Baker could do great things in WWE, but she's an OG for AEW, and I would like to see her being treated as such. It's been a while since we've seen her. I want to see her being booked with importance, and I'm hoping that that's what this leads to. And I mean, if I was a betting man, this is something I would bet on happening. So you guys let me know what you think about that, but Britt Baker coming back soon. Let's talk about John Cena and his farewell tour. Tons and tons of news. So John Cena is not having his final match in Boston, which a lot of people thought that would be the case with Saturday night's main event. So now WWE has published a press release. John Cena's final appearances will be on November 10th in Boston. And then Madison Square Garden, John Cena will be there on November 17th. Both of those shows are Monday Night Raw. And on top of that, what gets really crazy is WrestleVotes came out with a very, very, very big report because WWE's final match with John Cena, his final match will in fact be taking place on a Saturday night's main event. But the location of this is kind of crazy. WrestleVotes has confirmed in a new exclusive report that John Cena's final match is set for Saturday night's main event on December 13th, live from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Wow. I definitely did not. I'm shocked. I am shocked that John Cena's final match is not taking place in Boston. I'm even more shocked that John Cena's final match is taking place from the Capital One Arena because in Washington, D.C., if I remember correctly, maybe it was the first TV or the second TV taping that they did for Dynamite, AEW. They did the Capital One Arena. That's the only reason why I remember this arena at all. I look, John Cena retiring in Washington, D.C. is an interesting choice. It's a very interesting choice, and how WWE and John Cena came up with this conclusion, I don't know. But yeah, we know that he's not retiring in Boston. I think, man, I think John Cena having a final show in Boston's cool. Having a final show in Madison Square Garden's cool, and I'm glad those are part of his tour. Capital One Arena, Washington, D.C. What's the significance of that? And listen, I'm not a historian by any means. Maybe somebody here knows the significance behind it. I'm not sure. But John Cena's days in WWE are seriously numbered. There's even rumors that tonight's SmackDown will, in fact, be the final SmackDown that John Cena appears in ever, which is crazy considering we all know how John Cena got called up to the main roster, going to SmackDown and debuting against Kurt Angle. I don't know if WWE has a plan for Kurt Angle to return tonight, but I would love to see that being mentioned or referenced in some capacity. But this is huge, man. John Cena's retirement tour really, it's starting to sink in now that it is definitely going to be ending soon. Not many appearances left, and the fact that Washington D.C. is where it all ends, it's I don't understand it. I'm not mad about it by any means. I just don't understand how they came to that conclusion. So I am excited to find out more about that, but. Definitely big news regarding John Cena's retirement tour. I definitely didn't expect that. And that brings us to our final topic. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's SmackDown, there's been all this talk about AJ Lee, but what about Brock Lesnar? Well, there is this big belief that Brock Lesnar is coming to SmackDown tonight. There's been reports from several outlets. I know Fightful has also touched on this, that the expectation was that Brock Lesnar is in Chicago for SmackDown. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter came out and shed some more light on his situation. They've come out and revealed that Brock Lesnar's deal was actually expired and there was a new contract for him upon his return. So at some point, Brock Lesnar was actually a free agent. Brock Lesnar technically could have gone elsewhere. That wasn't really public knowledge, but now we're expecting AJ Lee and Brock Lesnar for tonight's SmackDown. WWE is clearly getting excited about WrestlePalooza, and that's part of the build. I don't know what WWE is going to do in either situation, but these are pretty big deals, man. AJ Lee, obviously, we've been talking about a lot this week. With Brock Lesnar, we haven't really been speaking about Brock Lesnar because we haven't really known how WWE is going to introduce Brock Lesnar back to the TV show, especially based on all the circumstances surrounding his situation. So for me personally, this looks like it's going to be an absolute banging episode of SmackDown. I think a lot of people are excited. The show is officially sold out. They have sold almost 17,000 tickets for the show. I mean, it's a very massive deal. WWE continues to remain hot. And listen, man, some people will agree with this. Some people won't agree with this. Some people will like it. Some people will not like it. But the truth is, WWE clearly knows what they're doing because they are listening to the consumers who are buying tickets. I even saw resale tickets literally going up for like $24,000, which I would never spend $24,000 on a ticket, even if I was a trillionaire, because I just think that's crazy. Keep in mind, that's a reseller price. But my point that I'm making is like there's a huge demand for WWE right now. And if you keep loading up the shows, people are going to continue to get excited. So I'm very curious to see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.